Hey guys, my name is Thomas Manfredonia. I'm from Team 1138 here in California, and this is going to be a basically a tutorial on how to get your robot running in EasyC V2 for crystals. So, this is your home screen. This is the first thing you're going to see right off the bat when you open the program. Let's just make this full screen, and then the first thing you want to do is make a new project. So you're going to come over here to a new competition project, and you're going to click it. And I believe you guys are using crystals, so we're just going to go to crystals. That's totally fine. So we're going to hit OK. And then this screen pops up. On your right hand side, you're going to have the C code, but we're not going to worry about that today. That's a little bit up the road. And that's it's not used for EasyC V2 or EasyC at all. It's actually C++, but it's the code if you want to know what it is. Alright, so your basic screen, this is going to be where you're going to do most of your work. This is your toolbar. We won't really worry about that. It just has some options, build and download, stuff like that. But that's we're going to get to that a little bit later. So this is basically your terminal. And this has all your program flows and your inputs, outputs, controls, stuff like that. So that's going to be very useful to us a little bit later on. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to program operator control. So we're going to click down the main and go to operator control. Now you see that this pops back up. Let's just slide it over there. And then you see this, wall 1, insert your RC code below. So first thing you want to do is make a map of your robot. Get all your motors plugged into ports and put the ports and motors on a piece of paper so it's much easier to program that way. Alright, so to program your operator control, the biggest thing is this over here, right here. So let's just expand that. And you have some different options in your RC control. You have arcade, which is a little bit different than tank. We're going to use mostly tank today, but you guys can go ahead and try that out. It's basically if you click one joystick forward, the whole bottom move forward, left, it'll make a turn left. But tank mode is what we mostly use here on Team 1138, and I highly suggest it. It's very easy to use, very easy to program, and it's very easy to drive. And it's basically you push both joysticks forward, the robot goes forward. You push one forward, one back. It'll do basically a 360 in place. So we're just going to do a tank 2 motor. So you're going to click and drag, and this screen pops up. This in the first box is your controller. So it's either going to be 1, which is usually the base, so we'll put it at 1, or 2, which is your arm. But again, we're just going to go 1 because we're just going to program your base. Alright, so these transmitter channels will be actually like the joysticks and the buttons on your controllers, and so we're just going to leave them 1 and 2, which I believe are the joysticks on those controllers. And your motors, let's just leave them at 1 and 2. They're obviously going to be different, or might be different for your robot, but we're just going to leave them 1 and 2. And we're going to click OK. And it pops up, and here's your code. If you were to build and download right now, you would be able to drive it. Now, we're going to do a little bit about how to program your arm. We're not going to use this for arm. We're going to actually use the motor module. Now, there is a servo module here. We don't really use servo modules. We found that they're a little bit unreliable, but they are also only go like 270 degrees, and we want something that can continuously rotate if we're doing like collector design. So we're just gonna drag and drop the motor module into our while loop. And again, we're gonna use 2 for our arm, 1 is for the base. And our channel, let's say this is like a conveyor belt and you want it on the joystick, let's go ahead and leave it on 1. And motor, since that's already 1 and 2, we can't use 1 and 2 again because that'll just drive the base. So we're gonna go, let's say, motor number 4. But again, it's gonna be different for your robot because of the nature of it and where your motors are plugged in. So we're gonna go hit OK. Now you see that it pops up here, and you have your base drive right here, and we have a ARM design or arm control over here. And so that's pretty much all you're going to do. You're going to use these controls right here to write a little bit of a program. Mostly you're going to use this, and that's basically a very simple program for your base, and you're going to use a lot of these for your arm design. Again, or you can use these for your arm design. You will have to play with them a little bit, but I highly suggest just using these two right here if you have a server and if you have a module or motor module, right? So that's pretty much it for operator control. You can build and download that and drive your robot around a little bit, but we're going to do autonomous. We're going to teach you guys how to do a little bit of autonomous right now. Again, your C code pops up, so we're just going to put that away. We're not going to bother ourselves with it. Alright, so this is your terminal once again. Notice how there's not a while loop here. It's just normal, don't worry about it. And we're going to go to outputs. Now you see three different things: motor module, servo module, and digital output. Now we're only going to worry ourselves with the motor module today. It's going to be more helpful. Alright, so your motor number is going to be 1 for your base drive, and 255 is fine. So we hit OK. And that'll only drive one motor forward. And we have to put another motor module for number 2, which is your other base. But the thing is, if they're facing away from each other, the motors are facing away from each other for the base, you are going to have to put counterclockwise, or it'll just basically spin around in a circle. And so that'll give you the drive forward. But the problem is, if you just leave it like this, your autonomous will only last not even a second, because you have to have something called a wait time. And what it is it basically allows this to run for a certain amount of time. And this is in milliseconds. So it's not 1,000 seconds. It's actually 1,000 milliseconds for a second. So this will be for 1 second. But let's go ahead and make that 2 seconds. And we hit OK. Alright, so your base will drive forward for 2 seconds. Cool. Now we're gonna, let's do a stop. So if you want to go forward, then stop, and continue with something else. So you put a stop here, and you have to stop both of your motors. And hit stop, hit OK. Also, you have to put a wait time in, and this could be for even half a second. And then we hit OK. Alright, so that'll go forward for 2 seconds and stop for half a second. Now, if you want to do a turn, you're going to bring this down, and let's say number 1 is on the left side and number 2 is on the right side, and you want to turn to the left. You're going to make this, let's just make this a stop for right now. That's not important. We're going to go back and change that in a couple seconds. And we're going to bring this down, and we're going to change it to motor number 2. Alright, so if you want to turn to the left, you have to power this. And as you see up here, this will go forward, so we want to put that to go forward. Because then this will drive forward, but this won't, so it'll make a nice, easy turn. Alright? But also, if that has too much friction on the floor or something, you can go to a user value and make it like 150, so it goes very slowly forward. So you have a nice, gentle turn. But again, let's do a wait time, so it actually works for more than a millisecond. And let's do this for maybe let's go for a full second. But remember, you're gonna have to play with this autonomous. We at Team 1138 play with this for hours and hours on end, and still need to tweak it a lot. So this will give you, this whole autonomous will basically drive forward for 2 seconds, stop for half a second, and do a gentle turn for a second. And again, don't get frustrated. It's not the program's fault. It just, you just have to keep working on it and keep tweaking it until it's right. And so and then of course, you wanted to put a stop. Let's put a stop here to end the program. And let's put a stop. Okay. Put a stop. Okay. And then finally, a wait time. And finally, of course, we have to teach you guys have how to download the program onto your brain, onto your robot, so it can actually work. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the build and download. And of course you got all your code and you've saved it and whatever. And you're going to hit build and download. And it's going to compile everything down here in this bar right here. And it'll say please wait. It'll think, and then it'll say the hex file was successfully built. What would you like to download your program? You say yes. This, of course, you need to plug in. I don't have anything plugged into my computer right now, but you have to plug in. You have to download a master code, of course, and you have to download the master code, make sure everything's current, and you of course have to plug computer into your brain so it can communicate. This, of course, is not. So that's how you build and download. Alright, so that concludes our tutorial for a very, very simple operator controller and autonomous. I hope you guys there in Micronesia have a wonderful time. Vex is a great program, and I hope this tutorial helps. See you later.